LOTO, Lockout Tagout, is a scientifically proven and recommended safety technique employed to manage hazardous energy and reduce it to zero levels prior to undertaking any non-routine maintenance, repair, assembly, disassembly, or similar tasks on a machine or equipment. Lockout Tagout equipment. Lockout Tagout, LOTO, equipment is designed to prevent harm to employees. Lockout involves securing and preventing the opening of devices such as switches, fuses, valve handles, and similar closure mechanisms when they are in the closed position. Special control devices are used for switches and valves that do not have built-in lockout capabilities. Safety locks should be single-keyed and should not be left in the open position. Lockout equipment must be resistant to chemicals, corrosion, extreme heat, and cold temperatures. Locks used for locking electrical circuit breaker equipment should be insulated. Lockout is performed using locks and keys, while tagging refers to the written label placed on the lock for warning purposes. Locks and tags should be applied and removed by authorized personnel. Tags should be resistant to liquid and acid splashes and should display symbols and warnings. Employees who see these symbols and warnings should understand that they are for lockout tagout purposes. Tags should be securely attached to the lock to prevent them from falling off. Locks and tags should be clearly identifiable as belonging to a specific individual. Locks and tags owned by someone else should never be removed. Once the machine or equipment has been adequately powered off or disconnected from its energy source, it must be securely locked, tagged, safeguarded, and tested. All pertinent employees must adhere to this procedure before commencing their work. Tagout. Tagout refers to the identification information of placing a tagout to signal that both the energy isolating device and the controlled equipment must not be operated until the tagout device is removed. Lockout. The energy isolating device and the equipment being controlled cannot be operated until the lockout device is removed. Securing. Securing is taking precautions against the absence of anyone around the equipment or work area to test whether the equipment is working after the locking operation. Testing. The trial process is to test and check that the energy of the machine and equipment is cut off. Lockout Tagout, LOTO, is of critical importance in ensuring the safety of workers during machine maintenance and repairs. 5 essential steps should be considered for an effective lockout process. Step 1. Develop an energy control policy for the pertinent machines. Prepare a written lockout document that specifies the equipment and tasks requiring lockout tagout procedures. Identify who will disable and lock the machine or equipment, and outline other necessary requirements. Step 2. Create machine-specific written and visual lockout procedures. These should detail the steps required to shut down, isolate, block, and secure the equipment to control hazardous energy, as well as the placement, removal, and transfer of lockout tagout devices. Step 3. Identify and mark the energy control points on the machine. All energy control points, such as valves, switches, breakers, and plugs, should be permanently marked and labeled using standardized tags. These labels should align with the equipment-specific procedures outlined in Step 2. Step 4. Provide machine-specific lockout tagout training to employees and conduct periodic inspections. Training should cover the following categories. Authorized employees. Authorized employees are individuals who perform lockout procedures on machines and equipment for maintenance purposes. Affected employees. Affected employees are those who do not perform lockout procedures but use machines undergoing maintenance. Other employees. Other employees are individuals who do not operate the machines but are present in the maintenance area. Step 5. Provide authorized employees with appropriate lockout tagout (LOTO) equipment for their specific tasks. Sample application: Lockout Tagout for industrial robots. In this sample application, a lockout tagout procedure will be implemented for the maintenance and repair of an industrial robot. Step 1: Energy Control Policy Preparation. Prepare an energy control policy for the maintenance and repair of the robot. This policy determines the energy sources associated with the robot and how these energy sources will be isolated. Step 2: Development of specific LOTO procedure for the robot. Develop a LOTO procedure for the robot and how the energy sources of the robot will be shut down, isolated, and secured. Step 3: Identification and marking of energy control points. Identify and mark all energy control points on the robot. These include switches, cables, hydraulic systems, and other components connected to the robot's power source. Step 4: Training and inspection. Provide LOTO training to the personnel responsible for the maintenance and repair of the robot. This training covers LOTO procedures, equipment usage, and safety measures in detail. Step 5: Provision of LOTO equipment. Supply the LOTO equipment, including lockout devices, tags, locks, and other safety equipment, to the personnel. General information. Machines possess both kinetic energy and potential energy. In Lockout Tagout, electricity is the first thing that comes to mind. Therefore, the lockout process is primarily performed on points that control electrical energy. Hydraulic energy is used for various tasks by maintaining the pressure of liquids in machines, while pneumatic energy is achieved by pressurizing air. In metalworking processes, fluids and chemicals are used for cooling purposes and transported to the cutting area through pipes. Employees who wish to enter the machine's work area for maintenance purposes need to perform various lockout and tagout procedures beforehand. In this module, we will implement the LOTO procedure for an industrial robot working in conjunction with a CNC vertical machining center. Firstly, an examination is conducted using the written and visual lockout documentation prepared in Step 2 for both the robot and the CNC machine. The lockout tagout procedure encompasses all energy sources. Necessary preparations are made for the lockout process, and then the relevant personnel are notified of the power shutdown. The personnel responsible for performing maintenance on the robot and CNC machine proceed by turning the main electrical switches of the robot and CNC machine to the off position and applying the lockout and tagout measures. Safety locks should be single-keyed, and the key should not be left in the open position. Subsequently, a warning tag is attached to the lock. Next, lockout and tagout procedures are implemented on the valves controlling the pressurized hydraulic energy, pneumatic system, and cooling units used in the operation of the CNC vertical machining center and the robot unit. The valves of the hydraulic system and cooling units are locked with the locking device seen on the screen. The lockout device on the pneumatic system, which supplies air to the CNC machining center, is pulled back to install the lock. Before entering the robot programming or robot workspace for maintenance purposes, the employee performs the necessary lockout procedure on the entrance door.